Decentralized finance on the open network, or TON, is absolutely exploding right now. But with that kind of crazy growth, you're going to get some growing pains. So today, we're going to dive deep into one of its biggest projects, STON.fi, to really understand their vision. And trust me, it's about way more than just swapping one token for another.
In a lot of DeFi worlds, including TON, the money that makes trading possible, what we call liquidity, is spread super thin. It creates this kind of messy landscape where every single exchange feels like its own little island, making things pretty inefficient and confusing for pretty much everyone involved.
And this gets us right to the heart of what I call DeFi's big silo problem. It's all about that fragmented liquidity. See, when all the trading funds are trapped in these separate, walled-off pools, it basically creates a hidden tax on every single trade you make, whether you realize it or not.
And the consequences of this are, well, they're not great. When liquidity is spread out, you just get bad prices. You hear the term slippage thrown around a lot. That's exactly it. It's the gap between the price you think you're getting and the price you actually get. Even worse, if you try to make a big trade, it might just fail completely because one pool doesn't have enough tokens. It's a huge headache for users and a major pain for developers trying to build cool stuff.
So what's STON.fi's plan to fix all this? Well, their solution is really a one-two punch. First, they're going to unify all that fragmented liquidity on TON. And second, they're bringing in a totally new way for you to diversify your portfolio. Let's tackle that first part, unifying.
Their big answer is a tool called Omniston. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a kayak or Google Flights, but for crypto. Right? Instead of checking a dozen different airline websites, use one site that scans everything for you. Omniston does that for token swaps on TON. It hunts down the absolute best deal so you don't have to.
And this slide really nails the difference. A standard swap? It's kind of a shot in the dark. You're just stuck with whatever price that one pool on that one exchange is offering. But an Omniswap swap, that's a smart move. It's like having a personal shopper that scours every public exchange and even private sources to find the best possible price. The bottom line here is just so simple. You get a better rate every single time automatically.
Okay, now for part 2 of their plan, real diversification. Let's be honest, most crypto portfolios are just filled with more crypto. And this is where their idea for xStocks is a total game changer. These are basically tokenized versions of real-world stuff like Apple stock or an S&P 500 ETF that you can hold right in your TON wallet and trade anytime you want, 24/7.
And this table here shows you what that looks like in the real world. You could go from a portfolio that's super heavy on crypto to something much more balanced, or even a pretty conservative one that's more tied to the traditional markets. And the most powerful part? You can do all of this rebalancing without ever leaving the crypto ecosystem. And this is crucial, without ever losing control of your own assets.
But here's the thing, solving these big problems on TON is really just the start. The real long-term play for STON.fi, their endgame, is way, way bigger. It's all about building what are called trustless bridges, basically connecting totally separate blockchains without having to trust some company in the middle to handle your money.
Now, the secret sauce that makes this possible is a bit of tech called a hashed time lock contract, or HTLC. You can just think of it as a super smart, totally trustless digital safe deposit box. It sets up a trade so that it's atomic, meaning it either works perfectly for both people involved, or the whole thing is canceled and everyone gets their money back. No exceptions, nobody can get cheated. Okay, let's walk through the classic Alice and Bob example. So first, Alice locks her tokens on her blockchain using a secret password only she knows. Bob sees that her tokens are locked and ready, so he locks his tokens on his blockchain using the exact same lock. Then Alice uses her secret password to unlock Bob's tokens and claim them. The magic moment is that when she does that, her secret password becomes public, and now Bob can use that public password to unlock and claim Alice's original tokens. The swap is done, it's totally seamless, and neither of them ever had to trust the other person for a second.
So we've got this awesome liquidity aggregator, a bridge to real-world stocks, and this grand vision for a multi-chain future. But who's driving the bus? Who's in charge of all this? Well, that's where the STON token and the DAO, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization, come into play.
And their governance system has this really clever twist at its core. When you stake your STON tokens, the protocol actually gives you 2 completely different assets back. Each one has its own specific job to do. They're called Arkenstone and Gemstone. So Arkenstone, that's your voting power. It's an NFT that's basically tied to your wallet forever. You can't sell it or give it away. This is your say in how the project evolves. Then you have Gemstone. That's your reward. It's a regular token you can trade, sell, or use for whatever the DAO decides. It's a really smart system because it separates power from profit, giving you both influence and a real financial reward. If you look at how they split up the tokens from the very beginning, you can see they're serious about this community-led model. A full 50%, half of the entire supply, is set aside for things the DAO controls. We're talking the treasury, community rewards, marketing, the whole shebang. It means the community literally has control over half of the protocol's resources from day one.
So how does this whole thing keep itself going? It's actually a really clever feedback loop. See, all the fees from trading on the platform get automatically swapped into STONE tokens. Then the DAO gets to decide what happens to that money. And one of the key things they can do is a buyback-and-burn. They use the fees to buy STONE tokens off the market and then just delete them forever. Over time, this actually reduces the total number of tokens out there, which can make the remaining ones more valuable.
All right, so let's tie all of this together. Why does any of this complex stuff actually matter for the future of the open network? Well, because it's not about building just another app. It's about building the bedrock, the foundation for an entire financial hub. When you step back and look at the whole picture, you see that STON.fi isn't just one thing. It's a liquidity aggregator to get you the best prices. It's a bridge to stocks and ETFs for real diversification. It's a bold plan for a future where blockchains can talk to each other without middlemen. And the whole thing is run by its own community. This is a serious, multi-layered play to build a core piece of financial plumbing for the entire TON ecosystem. And that really leaves us with one big final question to chew on. By tackling the problems of liquidity, diversification, and cross-chain communication, all wrapped up in a decentralized, community-run model, is STON.fi actually building the blueprint for what the future of DeFi is going to look like? That's something to think about.